too bad?
I would say it's more week to week.
What's the latest on Evan? Is he cleared protocol?
He is in the protocol right now.
Is Romeo out?
He is not.
Still in protocol.
And Wicks, is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, what's going on with Jaden Reed? He's been a field tilting player for you, and he hasn't been quite as involved. Is he dealing with something, or what?
No, I think when you look at this last game, one thing that first of all, we only had 44 snaps, so that obviously impacts your ability to get somebody the ball. But, we tried to go to him early in the game. As a matter of fact, the first play was kind of designed to either more than likely go to him or Wicks. We got sacked on that play. The first third down, we threw him the ball. He drove DPI. And then early on, or I think it was 2nd and 5, we had the ball at midfield, and we threw him an out route. We didn't complete that. But what they did to us is, so we were putting 11 personnel out on the field, and they kept playing what we were deeming like a base defense with Adams in there, and they're playing like a 3-4 structure. So they're like inviting you to throw the football, and we didn't want to get into a game. We knew it was important that we continue to run the ball. It's just there wasn't a lot of runs that draw up very nicely versus that configuration. So that's part of the reason we did a little bit more. I would say we were trying to go more bigger people, 12 personnel. Now, where we can be better is, and I talked to Jaden about this, is just making sure that we have some of those plays for him in the game plan where he's tagged to go in there and play wide out, because he's certainly, obviously, he's a very impactful player, and it wasn't by design that we don't want to throw him the ball today. That's never the case. We tried to down in the red area too, and that's when we got. They did a good job, I think. Again, they were in base people, and we couldn't sneak them through that A gap, and you all know what happened on that play. So it wasn't good for us.
Did you just come to the point then with the run that you kind of decided you didn't want to stick in the space, you got to run it anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to try. I think there's some things that we certainly could do a little bit better job of in terms of we want to have some cans, because, I mean, some of those looks were really, really difficult to run the football into, and, credit to them. They wanted us to do that, or they were basically begging us to throw the ball. I just didn't think, when you have number 8, you want to give him as many opportunities as you can, and unfortunately, some of those were some really difficult looks to run into.
Matt, with where the team is in the season and coming off a tough loss, did you think the weekend off did some good for everybody?
Yeah, I think just in order to, get ready for the final stretch of the season, but we're looking no further than what we have in front of us. Obviously, a team, I think they've won, 4 in a row. Going to Seattle is always a chore. I mean, that is a tough place to play. I think they got a lot of talented players. I think Mike's done a great job of just, they're playing good football and really in every phase. So it's gonna be a great challenge for us.
How do you get, along those lines, how do you get your pass defense tightened up? Because Gino's throwing the ball more than anybody. It looks like Goff, even to some extent, had a lot of those underneath completions. How do you get that stuff tightened up?
Well, it just depends what coverages you want to play. And we're getting into the game planning portion of that right now, and we'll certainly have a plan for that.
You got 4 games left in the playoffs. A year ago, you guys improved exponentially down the stretch the last 4 games. Where do you feel like this team needs to take a step to be ready for January?
Well, I just think, we kind of went through the game recap today, and just playing consistent football. I think there was a lot of opportunities in that game where we had advantages that we didn't capitalize on, and I think it always comes back to just doing the little things the right way, playing with great leverage, playing with great eyes, using your hands, all the core fundamentals that are essential to allowing you to go out and do your job at a high level. We've got to be more consistent. You got to be dialed in. You know, there was a handful of plays in that game. They go a different way, you have a different outcome, but they didn't. So you just don't know when those plays are going to come up. I mean, shoot, they scored 2 touchdowns on 4th downs. They scored another one on 3rd down. Obviously ended with a kick there at the end of the game. But it's in every phase, too. You know, offensively, got out to a really slow start. You know, you punt the first 2 times you get the ball. The second time you get the ball at midfield, you do nothing with it. And you go 3 and out, punt, and then you get an explosive play on the 3rd drive, and we get careless with the football. You know, and turn it over after an explosive gain. So you got to be better, and it's got to be every phase. Like I said, every play just dialed in, doing your 1/11th, and I think that's when you can realize your potential.
Matt, I feel like there's multiple times this season where you've said that you guys just haven't been playing consistent football. So why do you think that continues to be a problem, and how do you?
Well, I mean, we've found a way to win a lot of games, so I don't want to discredit that. But I think when you're playing against one of the premier teams in the league, you better be your best. So we just got to be better in those situations.
And how hard are those challenges on spots to win? You know?
Extremely difficult.
So you still think it's worth it, I guess?
In the moment. You know, they probably would have gone for it, but I just, you know, I didn't think from where I was standing, I didn't have a great vantage point of it. They were telling me up top that they thought it was worth it, and I think when we all saw the replay, if we would have seen that replay, we would have said no. But I think there are some that are easier to, maybe it could go the other way than others. When it's a scrum and you cannot see the ball, you're kind of wasting your time challenging those. But when you can clearly see the ball, we didn't get a good angle at it of that play, so we were wrong.
I feel like in the past, you guys, in challenges in general, have been pretty good this year. I think you're going for 5.
Yeah, not very good.
Is there anything that's happened different in the way you guys look?
No.
Because you've been pretty good in the past.
No.
You're basically just dependent on upstairs in that situation.
Sometimes, I would say the majority of the time, it's coming from upstairs where they got the TV copy on, and sometimes you get a replay, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you rely on what you see on the field, whether or not you challenge something. But I'd have to go back through, like we do after the season, and kind of look at all the mischallenged ops and the ones we got wrong. You're obviously keeping score, though, so you could tell me what they are. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You can tell I don't read those, so.
As the season's progressed, how have you seen Keyshawn Nixon get acclimated to playing on the boundary?
Yeah, I think he's done an outstanding job. I think that pick in the game was a great read on the quarterback. I thought our guys did a really nice job with that disguise because we were actually in a too high look, and X stayed down to the snap of the ball and got out of there, and I'm sure that gave, probably surprised the quarterback a little bit.
He was pretty convicted that the 16-yarder on the second 17 that the final drive was a shove to the receiver. What do you see?
Yes. I mean, it does me no good to talk about that, to be honest with you. So, it is what it is.
I'll go back to Jordan. Just another week where he stood in the pocket, and in some cases a big hit, or like that George Watson where he got him to step up. How much growth have you just continually seen from him, especially looking how he did?
Yeah, I thought he had an outstanding game. There were a couple plays that there's always going to be a couple that you'd like to have back. But I thought the play that he hit Christian Watson on, where they have a untouched linebacker blitzing through our A-gap, that was incredible. Just the ability to make him miss and then regain himself as a passer and throw a strike to Christian. That ball might have gotten tipped too. I couldn't really tell, but I think it got tipped. But Christian had great concentration on it. I just think Jordan, the more he plays, the better he gets. And I think his mechanics have improved. I think he's really focused on that over the last few weeks, and I think he's playing better. It's funny how that works. So he's doing a great job of moving in the pocket. When things are there, it's almost been automatic for him. So we need that to continue for us to get to where we want to go. And but I am happy with how he's playing. I think he's playing decisive, doing a good job for the most part, getting the ball out of his hands. And like I said, we need him to continue to do that.
Two more, please.
Yeah, so I know it's not a moral victory, it's a close game, right? And I totally get that, but it won't sound like Debbie Downer either, and maybe it's not like you guys are struggling with 9-4. How do you kind of feel like you are right now with 4 games left? You kind of know what the playoff picture is shaping up like?
Yeah, we still got to take care of business, right? And I think every one of these games, like I told our team, is not going to be easy. Every one of these games is, it's towards the end of the season, so people are going to be clawing and fighting for every game. And it starts this week in Seattle against a team that is fighting to control their own destiny within their division. So there's a lot of ball in front of us, and we got to continue to make sure that we look no further than what is right in front of us, and take that day-by-day approach, because that gives you your best opportunity to go out there on Sunday night and play your best ball. So if we look any further than that, then you get your ass kicked in this league.
3 games in 12 days is brutal for anybody. How did you and how did you have the guys kind of handle the weekend, and how much needed was that rest?
Yeah, so by the CBA, they were required to have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. But I gave our staff off. Most of these guys are watching the tape on their own anyways, and then we came in early this morning and watched it together, and before we got into our meetings with our players, so that we get everybody on the same page, make the necessary corrections, and then you're moving on.
Did you get a sense, is that a good opportunity to have that time off late in the season like this?
Yeah, it's a mini bye, so I think it affords people to rest, most importantly, and kind of recover and just try to gear up for the final stretch, because like I said, from here on out, it's going to be it's a gut check time. You got to take advantage of the moments, take advantage of the opportunities, and you got to earn the right to get whatever's after the regular season, and that's where we're at right now.
Did you guys just jog through today?
Sure.
Did you do a real practice?
Huh? Just a little indie and some stuff.